What's up, motorcycle people? Another video on the RC 1/8 scale NSR 500. A bunch of people have been asking me what is my setup. Just got this kit, and I'm psyched people are checking out this hobby. I feel like it needs to be way bigger than it is, and they want to know what mods I did. And really, there's not too many to do, but there are a few that I think are critical. First and foremost, you're gonna put this kit together. It comes with a brushed motor, 3 different pinions. I like the smallest pinion, but I don't think it matters that much. But in my opinion, if you're first getting started with this kit, fight the urge to go as fast as you can, because it is durable, but it's just plastic and you'd hate to break it right off the bat. The beauty of these kits, I think, are a little bit smaller course, slower racing, especially if you're just learning. First and foremost, though, you want to keep these wires on the body. They really help the sliders. And I like to bend mine up, and that gives you, again, a little bit deeper turn without it dragging. And if you run this on really rough pavement, they will catch and cause you to flip out. So they're really only good on smoother asphalt, smoother concrete. You know, check out like a basketball court, tennis court. Try not to go on a more of that chunky, rough road, especially if you're trying to turn the bike. They do okay if you're going straight, but so start there. Secondly, the wheels and tires that come with this bike are good, but they're not super sticky. And if you really want to get into those turns and those fast left to right turns, doing figure eights, etc., you're going to need to invest in some ZH Racing tires. You can get them from RC Mart and a few other online retailers, but you're going to get the ZH Racing front and rear softs, and you're also going to get their tire inserts. So it goes on the rim. It's a plastic insert. Let me see if I got an example over here. This is the front wheel. So you can see it fits beautifully on the Kyosho rim. It's got that nice rubber gasket on the outer rim there. And that creates a really nice round rolling surface, but also makes a nice deep V and really makes the bike turn faster, turn in left and right faster. The kit does come with a steel gyro, like just a weight here, which adds a lot more gyroscopic stability to the front wheel, but in turn, you're gonna turn in much slower. So as a new rider, you might wanna try it for a while, but if you're saying, man, why is my bike not turning in? Especially like maybe some of the videos I have, it's because you need to take that steel weight out and you need to swap it out with an insert. So the rear insert's similar. This is a rear insert. This is actually a wide. I have a blue medium in this, and that gives shape to the rear tire. And the combo of this two is gonna really light this bike on fire in terms of its turning ability. Again, I've kept the brush motor setup. I run the smallest pinion, stock chain, stock rear chain ring. I did install a metal gearbox, and the metal gearbox is a little bit better for heat dissipation. It has full ball bearings too, a little bit better efficiency, but it's not critical. You don't have to have that, but I do think it's gonna be a little more durable. But again, the main thing is you need the tire and the inserts. That's really the number one thing. I run a 20 amp brushed ESC off Amazon. There it is right there. I added a little capacitor pack there. I don't think that's necessary, but I just added it to smooth out that amp draw, because I am running the BEC off this. I think it's like a 2 amp BEC. Just food for thought. On my kit back here, I actually run it directly off the 7.4 volts, because this runs off a 7.4 volt LiPo, and I like the 900 milliamp. I also added some weights. You're gonna have to experiment with that, but I got weight on the front frame here, and then I also have weight on the belly pan. I used to, maybe I don't, never mind. So it's just that front weight right there, that's it. And these get a lot of good airflow, and there's that brush motor stock. So you can, of course, upgrade to brush or brushless, and a lot of guys do, and especially if you see those guys that are running them in Asia, man, and they're out going full speed, but I just don't have a nice smooth course like that. All right, moving on to suspension. The front springs I think are pretty good. They're a little stiff, but you can probably run them as is. Very basic setup. But I actually did swap out these front springs with some Home Depot spring bag springs, a little softer. So if you go to Home Depot, ask somebody if you got like it's just like a random assortment of springs. You'll pull those out, and when you disassemble this, you can compare the size. They have an exact match, but it's softer. And I'm just a big fan of that soft suspension. I want a nice active suspension. On the rear, I got a 1/10 drift scale, 1/10 drift car strut and a pretty soft spring. That you're just gonna have to feel out, but I really tried to soften the suspension. The stock spring that comes with this kit, in my opinion, is way too stiff for anything but a racetrack. You hit a bump or anything, you're just gonna be bouncing. So you can see this guy, and this doesn't even have a battery in it. It's just gonna really suck up all those bumps. And that, again, is gonna really help your traction and really help you on when you entering turns. So definitely upgraded the front rear suspension. That takes a little bit of Dremel grinding and whatnot to fit that 10th scale spring. You can also find them on Amazon or on eBay, but I'm not sure. The main thing is your spring rate. You want a softer spring, but too soft and the thing with the battery is just gonna sag down, and but you want a little bit of that preload. So you gotta mess around with that, but I did find a big improvement when I went to a softer spring setup and a little bit higher quality strut inside that damper. The rider, I definitely I switched the positioning of the toe. So instead of having it in the center foot, I moved it to the toe. Why? Because you get toe drag. So if you get deep in a turn, you're gonna grind the entire foot off. And as you do that, it's gonna cause you to have a lot of slide out crashing. So you can still see I've got toe drag, but now that I got a ton of hours on the bike, it's basically ground the toe down to where now I catch the slide wire first, or at least at the same time. So that's really broken in nicely. You'll see some guys in Asia actually make a little like rear set extender to bring the knee up and back, again giving you deeper turn ability, but you can't do that and keep this stock. You're gonna have to grind off the plastic lobster connectors and add like rubber bands or nylon connectors. You'll see they do that because otherwise you get some binding. I got a Metal Gear 9-gram servo running the steering and the rider. I did not install, they have some aluminum parts up here. That didn't work for me. The aluminum parts, especially from HR Racing, cause binding, and you don't want any binding up here. You want everything nice and smooth and free. So I just kept it stock, dude, and I've crashed this thing into walls and all sorts of stuff, and it's done just fine. There is a spring in here, to a servo saver spring, and I didn't glue that. I kept that all just the way it is, and I haven't noticed any issue. But I'm not really running this bike super fast or hard. I'd love to get into that, but I'm just not there yet. I just keep it small course and have a good time. So let's see, front and rear suspension, metal gearbox with bearings. I did front and rear bearings too. I mean, the bushings are fine, honestly, but why not? I put bearings in there, but again, not critical. Front and rear tires with inserts and stock brush setup. So yeah, if I would say what's the most important mod, front and rear ZH Racing soft tires with the ZH Racing inserts are going to give you the most bang for the buck. After that, it's all bling, and then I guess of course you want to go, if you want to go brushless for high speed stuff, but make sure you can ride this bike first before you mess with that, because you're probably going to break something. All right, hope this helped you guys. Definitely check these kit out while they're still available. You know, I feel like Kyosho makes a run of them. They sell out, and then you got it, and it's a year before you can find another kit unless you're willing to order from overseas. So let's build the hobby. Post up any comments or questions, like and subscribe, and I'll check you on the next one.